Hello everyone, it's Sarah Spiker here, coming to you from beautiful upstate New York. And it's a little bit windy, so let me know if you can hear me with too many distractions. Alright, I'm upping up the volume, so hopefully that helps as well. So today I wanted to talk to you about 5 steps that help me with stress to not only cope with it, but in most times remain calm, composed, and actually thrive in stress under pressure. Now, before I continue, I want to fully disclose that I am just a human after all, and I do have human experiences just like everybody else. But instead of freezing, or instead of really going to the frantic or picking up fights, I have learned a couple of things, like I said, a 5-step process that have served me really well from the years of being an international athlete to a student to a business owner, and especially a leader for my community, leader for my clients, and helping them excel as well. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples when I first started to become really conscious about this. And it was my freshman year in college in Slovenia, and I just received official invitation to join a basketball team in New York. I was beyond excited, and I asked my coach via email what they needed from me, and the way that I understood the answer was like, "Oh, you're all set." I was like, "Yay, awesome!" It was late spring, early summer. So here I was, convinced that my academic year is over. I'm going to start from the scratch in New York. I didn't have to worry about anything, right? That was my perception. A few weeks went by. My colleagues, my classmates that freshman year were studying for finals, and they were working their asses off, and they were sweating bullets, and I was just chilling, And one day I got an email from my coaches that said, "Well, let us know when your grades are in, and we need official transcripts." And I was like, "Whoa, holy shit, what?" It's like, "What do you mean you need my grades?" It was a complete, like one of those lost in translation. And I remember I had to go to each and one of my professors and explain that I might need, because the deadlines, the final test, the dates were preset. First round was early June or late June, then it was July, and then September in case you needed a third round. I was like, I only have one shot, and either some of those dates were way too late for me, so I had to go and individually meet each professor, explain my situation, and ask if they would be willing to accommodate me and give me an extra date that was much closer in order for me to meet the deadline of submitting the transcripts to the university. And what that meant was that all of a sudden, all of the material had to be studied at the same time. And I remember sitting in my room, staring at my desk, and there were piles and piles and piles of books and notes. And I was looking there, I was totally paralyzed. I was like, I don't even know where to start. There's no freaking way I can pull this off. And I gave myself probably a couple of hours to have a pity party. And then I rolled up my sleeves, like, well, if I want to do this, I really need to devise a system. And I devised a system that really allowed me to go through each and every one of those subjects, really take notes and start study, and then prioritizing based on the dates that I was given to take those tests. Long story short, luckily it all worked out. It's been 15 years since I came to the States. But that was the first time I started to really consciously deconstruct the whole process of how can I make it easier for myself. So that same process has served me, even when I lost my job, when I found out I was pregnant and stress was up. My husband and I just moved into this beautiful place. We were eager to start a new chapter in our lives, and we were suddenly down in salary, and expenses were about to go way through the roof. So the same thing is like, okay, what can I do if I start my business? How does it get to look like? I have never run a business before, my own. I have never started a business before. I had a ton of insecurities about my accent. I had a ton of insecurities about, levels of expertise and the whole, all the chitter chatter that goes in the minds. And again, very pragmatically, I devised a plan and then just leaped. No matter the fear, I took the leap. No matter resistance, I pushed through it. But then this pushing through became something that nearly killed me a couple of years after that, when my second daughter was born. And the strategy of just pushing through and just pushing through the pressure, putting your head down and just plowing through everything, negating all the feelings, nearly killed me. So I had to pretty much rewrite the whole script, rewrite the kind of a self-manual to deal with the pressure and stress. So as a result, I created something that has really served me really well and allowed me to stay cool and composed no matter what's going on around me. And it has served me when I had to have difficult conversations with my team, with my clients, including with my husband. At one point, I did ask for a divorce. So you can only imagine the stress, the pressure that was accumulating in me leading up to this conversation. And luckily, with the mindfulness and the love and connection we felt for each other, we were able to work things out. So we are more in love now than we have ever been. Just wanted to let you know that just because it feels like there's no way out, it doesn't mean that it's the end of the road. Okay, so I promised you my 5-step process. So without further ado, here it goes. When dealing with pressure, the stress and anxiety, what I have learned that really worked for me is to first assess it and see where is it coming from and what does it want to tell me and why is that it's coming up so important to me. A lot of times what I have found is that the triggers, for example, are completely external, actually internal, and the pressure I'm putting on myself is completely internal. That whatever's coming up is driven by ego, and I'm putting this high level expectation of myself way higher than anybody could possibly do, and I'm literally creating this monster from within. So realizing this really allows me to take it apart. Really plain and simple. And then it allows me to go into the next step. So the first one is the self-examination, right? Self-awareness. The second one is reevaluating everything. So if there's this inner monologue coming up and it's saying, you can't do this, you're terrible, you're gonna fail, there's no way you can pull this off, it's not gonna work. I get to now reevaluate first and foremost where this is coming from, and I get to choose whether or not those stories are true or not. Are they even mine? Most of the time they're not. So reevaluating my inner monologue and reevaluating the situation now allows me to redefine things, create new definitions, including what success even is. And that was one of the biggest struggles, because I did not even realize how much of my definition of success was driven by ego and by the norms of society and expectations of family and friends and everybody around. And it's a complete social construct. And that took me a lot of inner work, to be honest, to take it apart and really define what success means to me. So redefining things allowed new level of clarity, and it allowed me to really refocus and go to the fourth step, which is reorganization and reprioritizing. A lot of so to recap, evaluate, second is reevaluate, then it's redefine, reorganize, reprioritize things, and then if you need to, just press a reset button, right? And when I'm talking about the reset button, how does that get to look like? Is that oftentimes I will choose not to dive into hiding, deflecting, distracting myself and trying to prove something by adding even more to my plate in those stressful environments and stressful situations. But I will deliberately pull back, slow down, and do things for my soul and for my heart. And sometimes that is something as simple as, closing the computer, turning off the phone, going for a walk, taking a bath, going for a run, listening to the music. Some of my clients, they dive into art. Some of them, they dance, they create music, they read things that have nothing to do with business. In one of the conversations that I had, my friend and I were laughing. It's like, yeah, another thing that really helps is orgasms, a lot of orgasms. So, all of those things not only allow to take the mind off this pressure that we are ultimately putting on ourselves, but it allows us to ground and center ourselves and really refocus on where is it we're even going, why are things even important, and what is even important for us in any given moment. And to realize that whatever is happening, we have the power to choose how we not react, but respond to the external circumstances. And one of the reasons I wanted to share this with you today is because in this current situation, current reality, a lot of leaders, a lot of business owners, a lot of parents, a lot of individuals are crumbling under the incredible amount of pressure and anxiety that, yes, it comes from the uncertainty of what's going to happen. Things are absolutely out of your control. You have no control over, just for example, virus, right? You're going to get sick or you're not going to get sick. It doesn't matter. It doesn't choose. It's an equalizer. So it is stressful to not being able to control that. But instead of focusing on all the things that we cannot control, we can focus on things that there are in our control. And the way we choose to respond instead of react certainly is one of those things. And how we choose to treat ourselves and what state of mind we bring ourselves into is also going to dictate our vibrational frequency. And as we know, vibrational frequency works like a magnifier. It simply magnifies and brings you more of what is that we are focusing on. And the stress is the same thing. We're deflecting, and hiding. Where I'm from, I live in New York, otherwise I'm from Slovenia. A beautiful country in Europe. That's where my accent is from. Thanks for asking. So yes, I hope this is helpful, and I hope you found in this video and in my own 5-step process tools and steps and ideas, perhaps inspiration, to help you and to help your team, to help your family. There's a lot of resources available out there that are gonna take you through different approaches, that are gonna explain things from different perspectives. I wanted to share my own personal one because it really is something that we live every single day, something that we practice every single day. And mindfulness, not just for myself, I now get to pass it on to my daughters too, who respond to their own stresses and pressure very differently. One fights, the other one freezes. And also, as somebody who's in their lives, I needed to learn now not just how to systematically deal with my own responses, but also help them devise their own tools to help them navigate their own. And like I said, there are two on the completely other side of the spectrum, and that can create quite a different, interesting dynamic in our household. And especially now, right, when we are confined to small spaces, to closed spaces, it's really, really, really important to be mindful. And one last thing that I want to leave you with is self-compassion and self-love. And I know oftentimes we put everybody else's needs first, especially in situations like right now. I found myself, wanting to just even skip my showers or whatever it is because kids need me, my husband needs me, dogs need me, business needs me, right? But it's like, no, I need to fill my batteries first because I can only serve from the overflow, right? And that was one of the lessons that I also had to learn, and then also how to focus, which, going back to my athletic career, it was probably one of the greatest gifts that I had been given, was this athletic experience when I had to focus how to, you know, let's say the game is tied and the clock is running out and the last shot is going to determine who wins or loses. And imagine you're standing on a free throw line and there's crowds behind the basketball, which was my basketball was my sport, so behind the blackboard, right, there's crowds, they're trying to distract you, they are yelling at you, they're waving their prongs, whatever it is, right? And there you are, it's you, the basketball, and the net, and you zone into, you know, your focus zones into this singular thing that you have been practicing all these years and you have been visualizing all these years, and the muscle memory kicks in and you drop into this zone when you don't hear any of the distractions, when you're not feeling anything else. It's just like, I've got this, I've prepared for this, I can do this, knowing very well that you might miss that shot and your team might lose the game. And it's just the risk that you're willing to take because you have been practicing for so long. And as Michael Jordan has put, you know, missed, what did he say? Thousands and thousands of shots, including the ones that his team had entrusted in him to take. Because at the end of the day, you know, how to deal with stress, how to deal with pressure, it's nothing more than a muscle that we get to exercise. You know, you don't get to show up in a fitness center for 5 minutes, lift something, and you walk out with a six-pack. Right? It doesn't happen this way. It's repetition, repetition, repetition. It's tearing the muscle fibers so they can grow stronger. It's taking care of so many other things, because it doesn't matter how many weights you lift, how many miles you run, if you get home and your lifestyle is out of whack and your diet is awful, right? So it's a conglomerate of a lot of different factors, and each and every one of them is in your control. If not immediately, you can control how you respond to them. And just knowing that you always have this choice already puts you, you know, it gives you the competitive edge and a running start. So let me know if this video has been helpful for you. Let me know what's coming up, and let me know what is that you're dealing with and how can I support you. Because I know for a lot of leaders, CEOs, executives right now, while some of us are thriving and are seeing new opportunities and are seeing this as a new beginning and possibilities that are limitless, some of us are struggling, and some are shouldering incredible amounts of pressure and levels of responsibilities towards our teams, towards our families, towards our vendors, towards our clients. Some are crumbling under the guilt because they might need to, you know, let their team go and let go of the people who, you know, they build close relationships with. And they need to really choose between, you know, am I going to do the best for the company, or am I going to, you know, it is a difficult situation for many. Some might feel guilty, like a survivor guilt, because while our businesses are thriving, we see so many of people that we love and care about really struggle. You know, so whatever is that you're dealing with, first and foremost, know that you are not alone. Second, know that deep inside of you, you have everything you need to not just navigate this, but to emerge stronger, better, and hopefully in a much better alignment with what you're ultimately meant to become and meant to do and meant to contribute. So like I said, my team and I are here available for you. All you have to do is raise your hand, step forward, step up, and we welcome conversation in seeing what is that you need and how can we best support you. So that's all for today. Have a wonderful day, and if you know anybody who could benefit from this video, please share it with them or bring them over here so they can see it for themselves. Take care, everybody. Much love.